small business owner's journey is definitely a roller coaster. From the moment that idea first pops into your head, to your first client, to your first tax return as a sole trader, to your first employee, and so forth. It never ends. Of course, every milestone is incredible, considering 1 in 3 businesses fail in their first year. But we can't deny that being a small business owner is equally as stressful as it is amazing. So there's this quote that goes something a little like this: a prudent person learns from their experience, a wise person from the experience of others. One way to learn from the experiences from others is to work with a business coach. And what makes it even more valuable is that you're not just learning from their experience, but from the experience of their other clients. So today's guest is just that, a business coach who helps women build, grow, and scale their online businesses. Her name is Karen Vivarelli, and she has a whole suite of experience, including one-on-one coaching, sales funnels, tech and systems, and marketing. One of her offers is actually a strategy intensive to get you making your first 10,000 in a month, and to keep making that every month going forward. We are so excited to welcome you, Karen. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Yay. I hope we did. I know you do a lot of things, so I hope we didn't miss anything. Is there anything else in there?
So many things. I've got VA agency. I manage teams. Yeah, the tech, the systems, the strategy. Oh my gosh, everything in between, right? Mindset, marketing. Could go on and on.
I love it. I love it. I love multi-passionate people, as we all are. So
yeah, absolutely.
All right. So can you run us through a little bit about how you became a business coach, or in the space that you currently are in?
Yeah. So if we want to go right back to how it all began, I was made redundant while pregnant from my corporate job as a personal assistant, which is, yeah, shocking, right? In a legal firm, made redundant while I was 3 months pregnant. They claimed, the partners who made me redundant claimed that they didn't know the office manager, who I had told, funnily enough, wasn't there on that day. But, you know, it was actually a blessing in disguise. They actually did allow me to stay on and finish out my pregnancy. So they did do the right thing in the end. And I chose to see it as a blessing in disguise. I already had another child. And so this was my second baby. And I was really looking for ways to stay at home and be with my 2 girls, be a present mama, and not have to be rushing off to my job in the city where there was a long commute and, you know, madly working like school hours and then rushing home. It was really stressful, and I wasn't doing a great job at either of those, being a mum or in my job. And I also thought, well, I don't want to be at the whim of an employer who gets to decide whether I'm going to be employed or not. And I noticed that with other work colleagues who were parents, that they also were put into a bucket of, oh, they're kind of annoying, they're working part-time. We would prefer to have a young, this is my perception, by the way, a young person who could work full-time and was cheaper, because I had built up so much experience and I was really qualified, so I was obviously at the higher income bracket for them. Anyway, I chose to see it as a blessing in disguise. That's when I discovered a friend of a friend who was a virtual assistant, working as a virtual assistant. That term, this is 6 years ago, I didn't even know what a virtual assistant was. It wasn't a very, you know, common thing. No one really knew about virtual assistants. Anyway, I asked if I could call this friend of a friend and find out what a virtual assistant is, what do they do, and whether it was something that I would want to do. And it really was. She said that she was loving life, working from home, planning her wedding, all the things. And so I thought, right, I'll give it a go. She didn't really give me much more than that, help. So I just figured it out myself. I just figured out how to create my website, how to use social media and post on social media. I discovered InDesign, Adobe InDesign at that stage, and I was creating my own workbooks and services and packages guide, and I discovered Canva. It basically opened up this whole new world that I loved. It's like I created a new passion and purpose that I never knew existed. And I guess coming from legal, where there's no creativity, I've discovered my creativity in reinventing my career. And I had all these creative passions. So I also always loved graphic design. So it was like I could really step into that genre. And then I love social media, and I just was obsessed with it right from the beginning and loved it. And then from my first social media post, I found two clients. One was working in Bali. She was from Switzerland. She was working and living in Bali as an expat, and she was a social media strategist, and she had a course teaching people how to do social media management. So naturally, I learned all about courses, all about social media and how to be a coach through her, and I learned everything that I needed to know, and she was hugely successful. And she was already in masterminds with boss babes and people like that. So really high end. So I learned from the best straight away and really loved it. And then I started getting people asking me, well, how do I become a virtual assistant? And so I started coaching them one-on-one on how to become a virtual assistant, just like I did. And then I was quickly turned into becoming an online business manager, which is like a office manager, but doing it online for people anywhere in the world and managing their business and managing their teams. And it was at this point that someone that I really looked up to, it was a husband and wife team, they asked me to become their OBM, but they said I would need to let go of my business and only work for them. And I'd said that I was thinking of creating my first course to help virtual assistants, set up their business. And they said, well, you couldn't have that course. You can't have that course because you will be successful just from association with us. And so it was a really tough decision for me to go, right, do I want to work with these people that I've admired for so long? Or do I want to continue on building my own business and having control over that, creating my first course? So I obviously chose creating the course. And that was right before COVID hit. And so the perfect timing of that, of helping people set up as a virtual assistant, and then eventually any business could do that course. I turned it into a business Kickstarter course, and it just helps so many people. And so I really feel like that, yeah, including Jess.
I'm one of them.
Yes. And so I was able to help so many more people than I, would have been able to in that capacity as an online business manager. And I still do both, actually. I still work with people as a business manager who are happy for me to have my business, run my own courses, right? So you can work with people who are very aligned to what you want and what your goals are. And I just found so much joy in helping people leave their corporate jobs or build a side hustle or whatever they wanted to do. It's almost like they discovered who they are inside, as well as a way to make money. So it was really fulfilling to me. And then I've, just continued on coaching people in whether that's virtual assistants or anyone who wants to start a business online. And it's just been the most fulfilling career path and business. And I just really love it. I'm just so passionate about it. And I feel like I've only just begun.
Wow.
That's
fantastic. I love the journey. I think that's really cool. And I like how you mentioned it's about just discovering a bit about yourself while earning money. That's cool. That's a great way of looking at it. So you've touched on it a bit, but we'd love to know the types of people that you work with and what kind of businesses do they run. You obviously mentioned about that business management side of things, and then that's that one-on-one coaching kind of thing. What types of businesses do you work with?
So it ranges from starting a business, growing and scaling a business. So people that are starting a business usually come from office jobs or corporate jobs where they want to transition their current skill set and to be able to work online and have that freedom and flexibility to work from anywhere, home or wherever that is. So it's usually that falls into the category of people that are marketing assistants or, personal assistants or have some admin job. I have had teachers come to me. I've had managers come to me, so it's really varied that they're in their jobs and they just want direction on how to get out of it but still make money. And I think also women who have had babies or haven't been working and they have no confidence or don't have skills, and how do they get back into the workforce and don't want to return to their old job. So it's really transitioning online or reinventing themselves. So a lot of people, they don't need to, yes, you can use your current skills, but you can also learn new skills, and which is what I teach inside the Business Kickstarter course. Like, how to actually work online is actually a whole new skill set that is actually easy to do, enjoyable, and you can make money from. Better than a university degree, I reckon. So there's that sort of side of things. And then I work with businesses who have been running for, I don't know, it could be a year to 2 years, depending on how successful they are or have been. And they usually are at a stage where they want to grow, but they can't do everything on their own. And they need systems that are streamlined because they're doing things manually, or, they're not great at social media, so they need help with that, or marketing, or their messaging. So I've worked with a lot of coaches seem to gravitate towards me, which is like mindset coaches, life coaches. I work with a psychic medium, personal development. So I work currently with a psychic medium and an NLP coach, and with so many different modalities that they teach. So it's really, I love that I've been able to work with clients that I'm personally interested in. So the things that I want to develop in myself personally, professionally, I'm actually working with them so that they can help their communities. It's just so rewarding like that. And so, so usually that runs, the types of businesses they're earning 7-8 figures. And so can afford to have me come in like a COO almost and come together on the strategy, but also manage their team so that they can really lead the business, and they're the face of the business, but they have a team to help, get everything done.
Yeah. Wow. That's quite dynamic, I think. And do you find that there are some businesses that you come across a common thread of what they struggle with? Like you identify that most people or most women struggle with a certain mindset, or do you see some common struggles?
Yeah. So definitely they want to control everything and do everything themselves. Release control can be hard. And also just because when you're in your business, it can be difficult to have those ideas and have a sort of like bird's eye view on, or your blind spots. You can't quite see what you're missing when you're in it. So there's that, as well as the tech. A lot of them just do not want to do the tech, don't know how to do it, have no interest in it, or have no time. So really coming in and setting up streamlined systems where everything just automates magically, like Jess knows this because she's techie like me. It's just a way to really grow and scale your business without taking on another virtual assistant where tech is actually doing the work for you. But it takes time to set those things up in the beginning. But that's one of the main things that a lot of people hire me for, because not only can I do it and I understand the tech, I've got that strategic experience to say why you should be doing it like this. This is, and just really helping to grow and scale the business in that way. So tech as well as social media is another thing where business owners, don't want to be doing the social media. Although my opinion is they do need to be the face, and because we are moving towards more video, as you guys know. And so you can't have a business and not show up and have your energy in social media. I think that is the difference between businesses that are really successful. Their energy is in it. They can't just hand over the whole of their social media. Yeah. So it's coming up with strategic ideas for social media with the business owner.
So just circling back to the tech side of things, because I know how overwhelming it can be. We all know how overwhelming tech can be. Is there a right or a wrong time to be implementing tech in your business, in your opinion? Like straight out of the gate, buying all the new fancy tools, is it worth it? Or, you know, what's your experience around that one?
It depends how much money you've got to invest in tech, but I think you could really set up just a handful of really effective tech tools that don't cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then as you're growing, I mean, there's definitely a benefit of having things set up properly from the beginning so you're not wasting time, because you're going to pay for it down the track if you're not doing things in the right way. It's just like a mess and not organized. You're going to have to go back and sort that stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
So it is better to have someone come in right from the beginning and say, let's set it up like this with my experience. This is what works. Mm-hmm. And then you can grow and scale really quickly. Then you're not bogged down by using a million tech tools that are making you feel so overwhelmed, right?
Yes. Yeah. I feel like that's a really good tip there, 100%.
Yeah.
Because it can be a little bit like, whoa. And especially when you're starting out, I think there's so much out there to have someone succinctly come in and be like, this is what we need and this is how you can move forward, I think is a very powerful thing. So
yes. And then discovering which ones suit the business owner, because not everyone is visually inclined in the same way. So they might process information or see things in a different way. So it's really discovering, okay, is Asana your project management tool or is it something like ClickUp, because the interfaces are different. So it's really discovering what's going to work and allow the business owner to thrive and not be overwhelmed and stressed out.
Yes, no, 100%. So we've touched on this, but I guess obviously many women come to you right at the beginning when they're establishing those businesses, right in those infant stages. Do you find that possibly, because we're all about branding here, do you find that possibly branding might be an afterthought for them? And do you have any advice around that space?
Yes, I think it can be an overwhelming thing to think of, because they immediately go into, and as you know, in my business Kickstarter course, I've got a branding module. And for business owners, I say, if you're on a budget, you can do it yourself. And they quite often immediately go into, well, these are all the colours that I like. How do I make a decision on what does it reflect? What the psychology of colours. And so they can really overthink the whole process. And when you work with a branding, expert like yourselves, it just allows you to really hone in on what your branding should be to really stand out. And I think this is really important in the online space, is to stand out and have it reflect you and have a brand that you absolutely love, because that energy will come through in everything that you do. So, yeah, it's definitely an afterthought. And I find that people, if they create their branding themselves, they will get it redone, by a professional down the track.
100%. Me. And I'm sure Alicia can talk a lot to this as well. Like, I saw you nodding when you're like, people picking their favorite colors.
Yeah. I usually get that like, I pick this color because it really speaks to me. And I'm like, but does it reflect your target audience or like other things at play?
Yeah.
There is a benefit of getting someone that solely focuses on it. But also I agree with you, if you're starting out and you don't have the budget, to just start with something, and then as you build, then you can set it. But it does set the foundation 100%.
It does. And some people just do not have a design eye. And even the font, if it's, script writing and you can't read it, like some people just can't see that would be a bad choice to use. And so, it looks at everything really. It's the first impression, and it does set the tone of whether that business is going to be professional to work with, unfortunately. Yes, you can get it. And that's why I always say, if you're going to do it yourself, do something really simple and classic to start with until you've got some, funds to invest in someone who can probably save you a lot of time and money and get the right clients. Get the right clients when you've got the right branding as well.
Yeah. And Do you find that like you prompt, is there a certain time that you deal with the businesses that you kind of prompt them, that you go, hey, I think you should start looking at the rebranding, or like, do you kind of get an indication with that?
Yeah, I think especially when it comes to photos of themselves, and that's a big thing, the visibility piece and how they want to be perceived and how they want to stand out. So it depends. I was just reflecting back on my clients. So I have one client who hasn't got a great logo, but she's making 50K months in her business. And this is purely because she's showing up. She's got a specific strategy and it's in a Facebook group. And so it's all her. And she does offer a lot of value. She doesn't have a website. And I've been on her about getting some branding done. But she's gonna, that's like an afterthought for her. But now we're at a stage where I'm going to be doing a content creation day for her, and she does want to up level everything. So this will be one of the conversations that we have. And I'm creating some of her graphics. So that's which doesn't have a logo in it, but it's got her in it. So we've had to do a content day to sort of up level all of the branding. Yeah.
That definitely speaks really highly to like that showing up, showing your face, which I'm very bad for. Preaching to the choir. But yeah, that whole, because I know with your Instagram and your social media presence, like you have a great presence. You're always showing up. You're visually there. Is very strong and very clear about what you do and who you serve. And yes, they may not have a logo at the moment, this client of yours. But yeah, that showing up piece, so powerful. It seems to be a bit of a common thread that we're getting through a lot of our discussions. Yes.
Also, what helps to show up is a cohesive brand. So when you are creating your social media posts, having the colors and the branding just helps it all to flow and come together as well, I think, visually. So yes, while showing up is, you can just go live or whatever it is, still the missing element for a lot of people is that cohesive branding. It's like the icing on top, I would say.
Yeah. Well, speaking of branding, we see that you've gone through a rebrand yourself, and it's chef's kiss. Can you tell us a little bit about why you decided to go through a rebrand?
Yeah, so prior to my rebrand, I had done everything myself. I had my logo done by a graphic designer a long time ago, which was just written my name, like illustrated it and turned it into a logo, which I still love. But prior to that, I just felt like I was going through this big shift. So most of my business was helping virtual assistants. And I felt like I just had grown and changed and shifted and evolved so much that I wanted my brand to reflect that. And I just felt called to, like, I started putting a Pinterest board together of the types of photos that I'd want. And I'm like, yes, this feels so good and so empowering. I knew exactly vision, like what I wanted. Then I found a photographer. I even hired a stylist to help me with the outfits and to get the look nailed. And so, and I'm a very visual person. So having the visuals allows me to step into my brand and what I'm wanting to achieve even more. And so, I chose the colors and the red, the white, just the, empowered everything.
I love it.
Yeah, it's been amazing. It's been an amazing transformation. But it's, sometimes that's what can kick it all off is the visuals to help you step into that persona as well. Yeah.
How did you find the process of like your rebranding? Like you obviously put a Pinterest board together. Was it very natural because you obviously the shift in your business?
Yes.
Did you find that you were challenged a bit in certain areas? I'd love to know what the process was.
So my process was I put together this Pinterest board because this is what I teach people to do as well. I'm like, right, I'm going to put together Pinterest board, and I'm very visual, and so I saw this brand on social media. The people that I admire, the coaches that I admire, they all had this type of like really empowered, like girl boss, energy. And I'm like, yes, that's what I want. And so I started this Pinterest board. I then got a Google doc. I'm very organized. I got a Google document, and I started typing all the vibe, like empowered, expansive, and all these words that I wanted my brand to represent. And so I had all of this nutted out, and then I went to the photographer and I said, would love to chat about, our brand photo shoot. This is what I'm thinking. And she goes, wow, you've done all the work already for me. She goes, no one usually is this organized. And of course, that's just what I do as a coach as well for my clients. So it's all natural. And so the vision always comes first for me. And then with the photographer, I felt really aligned to her, and she came up with these incredible ideas with the lighting. If you've seen some of my photos with the lighting, the spotlight. So something really different I wanted. And same with the stylist. She knew exactly what I was after. And I'd spoken with another photographer who just didn't really get it. And so I wasn't aligned with him. And so I went with her. And it was so easy. It all just fell into place. And for me, that's a sign that this is all meant to be. It's all meant to happen if it's nice and easy. And on the day, the people, everyone brought a support person to take video content for social media. And they were like my cheer squad. And it was just so, the vibe was so high and just so empowering. It just reflected through in the photos, I thought. Yeah.
I love that. I love the idea of having someone there on your brand shoot. You're like, yay!
Yes, yeah.
Bubbles, fix your hair, get your next outfit ready.
It was so good. I had the stylist there, and she had all the outfits ready and all the accessories, and so I didn't have to think about all of that, any of that. It was just I just had to be me.
I love it.
Yeah.
And you've obviously had like an impact. Have you had feedback from people with your whole rebrand? What's that been like?
Yeah. A lot of people reaching out and saying, really feel the energy, of your brand photo shoot, can see the transformation. Because I also made it fun before it all happened, teasing it out, something amazing's happening, something's coming. And so it was that, curiosity marketing to sort of like use social media and take people on a journey with me as I went into my rebrand. So that was a lot of fun as well. Yeah. But yeah, lots of people are reaching out and saying, oh, how did you do it? What did you do? And yeah, just
tell me your secrets.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Well, it looks stunning. I love the photography, and I feel like when I finally go for my brand shoot, I'm bringing a friend.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, a little bit of shift. We'd love to talk about two other topics around scaling and outsourcing, and what that means to a business owner. Because I think at times when we talk about outsourcing, we spoke before about, women or business owners in general just holding on to tasks or operations within their business that they may not necessarily need to do and they need to stop doing so they can expand. As well as a little bit of the tech side of things, which we'll get to in a second. But how can business owners how do business owners know when it's the right time to outsource?
Yes. Well, there's a couple of ways. So it can be, looking at where are they spending their time? So a lot of the time business owners can be busy, but they're not actually busy doing the income generating activities that only they can do, or they're just not getting the results in their business. So it's about looking at, and I think a lot of the times business owners can feel overwhelmed by bringing someone into their business. One, they're protective, it's their baby, right? And they've built this up and they're nervous about bringing someone in and spending the money, but it can start with a simple task. So whatever task that is that they don't like doing or they're not good at doing, right? It could just start with inbox management and getting help with that inbox that they feel overwhelmed with looking at, and getting that all sorted. And because quite often as well, they're not getting back to people quickly enough, and people are falling in through the cracks. And so they're missing out on opportunities of connecting and nurturing their, potential clients or leads, potential clients. And so having help with that. And so there's different stages. It can be that they've got, quite often I'll have a business owner come to me saying, I've got a VA, but then they're not doing a great job. And quite often it's not that the VA is not doing a great job, it's that they're not communicating to the VA what they need. So there's that communication piece that's missing. So quite often I come in and I can help to manage the team so that the business owner's freed up and, we're all communicating amazing. And maybe it's about having a tech tool to come in and help us communicate better, whether that's Voxer or Slack, because we're usually the teams, spread out in the world, different time zones. So communication is so important. And making sure instructions for tasks are in something like Asana or ClickUp, so that, the right instructions, so you're not going backwards and forwards trying to work out what the business owner wants. It's all there, and we can just work out that task in our own time. So there's different, and usually if a business owner wants a project, so maybe they're launching a new service or a new program, a masterclass, whatever it is, a lot of the times I'll come in and, set all that up, whether it's landing pages, the sales funnel, emails, the social media that goes with it. So sometimes that is when you bring on more team members to help out with that. Yeah.
I love that. I think communication is key. And I know in the early stages of my career, I struggled a little bit with that communication. And so I think being super clear as both a VA and a business owner is essential. And having Asana, I'm a big advocate.
Yes, yeah. And it's on both sides to communicate what your, expectations are, and when you're available to work, because virtual assistants or team members in general, work different hours. It's not like an employee relationship.
No.
From 9 to 5, ready to do work. It's not like that, unless of course that's who you employ. But so it's just being, having that conversation right at the beginning about what your expectations are and when you need things turned around, and not leaving things to the last minute. I think that's a big one.
Oh, yeah. Yes. I know that one very well.
Yeah.
Are there any tasks that you can sort of think of? Like you mentioned the inbox, but is there any other tasks that you can think that people can start letting go of? Because I feel like some people don't know what they can give up as well.
Yeah.
Like they've got that control thing.
Yeah.
So even me, I'm like, let it go.
Yeah. I think a great task to do, and I'll give some examples in a minute, a great task to do is grab a notebook and pen, and as you go about your day, write down all the tasks that you're actually doing, or you can use Toggle or Clockify, like a timesheet app, and start noting down all the tasks that you are doing. And do you really need to be doing those, or is it something that, because there are some tasks that only the business owner can do, right? So can you give that to somebody else to do? Or, does it need to be you? So start, noting down off that list, what can you outsource? And I think that's a great way to see where all of your time is going. And someone could probably be doing it quicker and faster than you. And so the next time you do that task, you can record your screen. I love Loom, Loom for that. I know you girls would know that one. And you can just record yourself doing it, and that then forms the instructions to give to your team member to then do it on your behalf. And they might see it and go, did you know you could do it like this instead, and make it even quicker and easier? That helps you to you've already shown someone how to do it, and then they can just do it. And because quite often that's the overwhelming part for business owners, to feel like they've got to have time to explain to someone how to do a task. So, yeah, doing that. So, yeah, there's so many things. It depends what you do in your business. It could be social media. So we'll start with that one because everyone's got social media, and coming up with the ideas and instructing the business owner, I need you to record this video, or how can you record this video? So I've got I've got one of my clients. She's great on Facebook, doesn't really like Instagram. So what I do is I take one of her TikTok videos that she's done and then repurpose it to Instagram reel, a story, a carousel post, put it on YouTube shorts, blog post, email. So that is one task, which is really important, marketing your business, but making sure it's not you having to create new content all the time. How can you be really smart with your time and have someone do that for you? But you still need to be leading your business and coming up with those ideas and knowing your ideal client to then be able to, work co-creation with your team member to go, this is what I think we should create social media posts on. I think it's really important not to handball the whole lot to somebody else because then it's their energy. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, just social media. Asana, of course, is a great way to organize your business, as you would know, Jess. And, what else is there? There's so many things you could do. So it could be you've got a Facebook community and a Facebook group. It's having someone approve the members in there. It's making sure everyone in that group is feeling loved and nurtured and responding to their comments, liking their comments, and probably posting content. So it's an active group instead of doing that all on your own. There's also, if you've got courses or memberships or programs that you run in Kajabi or some other program, quite often there'll be, the students or members reach out to ask questions that they can't get into the program. So that having someone to answer those emails, but as well as failed payments that happen from time to time, or the card expires, having someone manage that process can really alleviate the client from going, oh, why do they, or, people wanting a refund, requesting a refund. Having someone take care of that, just that energy around, oh, why does that person, I've got a client's like, why does that person want a, refund? Just if you can get a team member to take care of that. And there's a way to retain clients as well if they want a refund, like find out why. How can you, offer them something else? There's ways to manage that the business owner doesn't need to do. Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought I've never thought of it in that way though, with the energy around the task, and it gives you I could, if someone asked me for a refund, it would make me feel so icky. I don't know, it's probably for a valid reason, whatever, but I would probably stress over it for no particular reason. So being able to hand that energy off to someone else, that's a great way to look at it.
Yes. And so, one of my clients is in that at the moment. I said, let's develop a system around that, but also doesn't mean it could, getting to know them on why they want a refund, what's going on, how can we resolve it, and offer them something else, get feedback, how could it be better, what's going on. I think it's really important. So, and something that I've recently experienced where I requested to cancel a membership, and they just immediately went into sort of defensive mode. Yeah. and I thought that they could have really found out from me why and what it was, and I nearly potentially wanted to stay. But so there's ways you can go about these seemingly negative things that can be turned into positives if you're really smart about it. Yeah.
I love that. Awesome. Great advice there. 100%. All right. Before we go on to the next topic, I just wanted to ask, now I know that you are a gatherer of great people and you know a lot of VAs or people within the space, but as a business owner who's looking to hire a new VA, where, other than looking at yourself, of course, where could they start looking for that potential VA to join their team?
Yes. So, as you know, I've got a VA agency, but if you wanted to look, I think the first place is to see whether they have a website, to see if they're on social media, Instagram, Facebook, or wherever you like to hang out online. Have a look at their presence, because you get a sense for who they are. This goes for anyone with a business. If someone was to do a stalk and find you online, how are they going to feel about you? If you're wanting to really work with someone who's going to be in your business, you want to know, like, and trust them, and know who the person is behind the business. So the first place to look is online. And if, depending on what you want them to do, if you want them to manage your website, do they have a website themselves?
That's very valid.
Do you know what I mean? And then reach out to them and start a conversation. Do they get back to you quickly, or does it take weeks? That's usually a good sign. And, you know, have a great conversation. You can usually pick up on their energy. I'm very big on energy, I've noticed. Like, you can get a sense for people when you start that conversation. And sometimes, yes, you know, maybe it's the weekend and they're not working on the weekend. So not always jumping to conclusions or judging them on things. But I think, you know, that for me would be a great place. Also, recommendations. If you know other business owners who are using a VA, you can't go past word of mouth recommendations, as well as Facebook groups. So Facebook groups with business owners, if you ask for a virtual assistant, there's usually a million virtual assistants that will say, hey, me.
Yep.
So, and it's, if someone's recommended a VA in that thread, that's probably the best option to go with. Yeah.
I love that. And if you're a business owner, be the person that mentions that VA's name in a room full of opportunities.
Yeah. But what happens is the business owner doesn't want.
Yeah, that's true. They're like, they're too good, they're mine.
Yeah. Because I'm like that.
Alrighty, so if we just move on a little bit to the tech side of things. Now, we touched on it a little bit before, but when it comes to scaling, what's usually the first steps that you would take, or you would recommend your clients to take when it comes to looking at the tech within their business? What's some common software or platforms, things like that?
Yeah, it depends on what they're already using and what their intention is, where they want to take their business. I think being able to sort of, with CRM systems, so client relationship management systems, are really important. And because tech does change as your business grows and scales, and it depends on what you want to do with it. So, for example, one of my clients, they've got a lot of different courses, in-person courses as well as online courses. And so there's a lot of funnels. There's a lot of things you can really optimize. So when someone lands on the sales page, they purchase, it's the emails leading up to the event, it's afterwards, it's cross-promotion, upselling, downselling, all these things. So it depends on what you've currently got and how can you be really smart with it now. And build things out now. So this client has got so many things and we've been cleaning a lot up. It's like a huge process. And we're discovering a few loopholes in one of the tech platforms that she uses, which is Entreport, but we're discovering ways around it. So you don't want to be jumping from tech tool to tech tool. So it's like, how can we use what you've already got? And if it's not really working, let's look at what you should be using. So Entreport is great for automations, so really complicated automations where things have to happen at certain times or depending on certain actions. And then there's Dubsado, which you would know, Jess, Dubsado, which is great for coaching businesses, where it's great for calls. You can book in calls, you can automate the emails that they get, you can automate lead generation, lead forms, questionnaires, contracts, proposals. It takes a little bit to set up, but once you've got it set up, it works like a dream.
It's like your own little mini VA.
It is.
Virtual VA. Virtual. Yeah.
Yeah. So I highly recommend Dubsado, but have someone set it up for you. And what else? There's so many things. Kajabi, I'm a big fan of for courses and memberships. It is simple to use and set up. And what I love about Kajabi is if you have a program that you've got an idea for, you can really set it up. I've set something up in 15 minutes. The checkout page, the price, the email, the thank you page. You don't even have to do all those fancy things. The thank you page, like the automation, and then sell something the same day really quickly. So that's what I love about Kajabi is making things simplified so that you can actually get it out, tell people about it, and make money really quickly. You don't need to spend 4 weeks creating a sales page.
Yes. You don't.
No, you don't. Yeah.
So can I just ask a quick question around, and it's something that I've seen in my past and I'm sure you face with other business owners is, again, we go back to mindset and the mindset around using technology. And, you know, I've had clients flat out refuse because I feel like it stemmed from like a place of they were scared, they were unsure, they felt like they were too old. Like, you know, these are these spaces where they've been told that, you know, it's just too hard and too complicated. How do you navigate that with some of your clients? Have you experienced it? And if you have, how do you navigate that?
Yeah, well, I have experienced that recently with a client where she wanted to automate everything. And I said Dubsado would be the best thing, but she would need to go through a Dubsado expert to set it up, because I don't offer that. And she got overwhelmed by it all. Even though we went through, this is, you know, what it can do for you. And she needed her website redone, but she wasn't willing to take on some of the ideas that I was offering to her. So I think it gets overwhelming. So when they want to change too many things or implement too many things, it gets overwhelming. So that is why, even right at the beginning, having simple systems so you don't fall into this trap of like then having to fix everything up because you're wondering why nothing's working or converting. So, and that's why going back to your messaging is really important. So you're not having to, go back and fix everything, and you're growing quickly then because you're not having to wonder what's not working. So it can be a conversation, and sometimes it's not aligned, and other times, And I'm very into tech, and it doesn't have to be scary, you know. And once you realize, so that's how easy it is. So I had a client who was scared about Reels, for example, Instagram Reels. And I said to her, she's in Perth, luckily. So we got together and I said, this is how you create it. And I showed her on my phone. She goes, what is that? Is that how easy it is? I said, yeah. She goes, what was I thinking then? I said, I don't know. You were overcomplicating it. So we can overcomplicate things in our mind and just need someone to show you how to use it. And then it blows your mind, because then it saves you a job. It saves you so much heartache and stress. And then you can get on to actually growing your business without distractions.
Yeah, I can definitely relate, because I have found myself in the last year go, no, I don't need this tech. And then I realize I'm like, actually, I need this tech. It's like the blockages in the mind. But do you find that some people get also a bit overwhelmed or daunting by the price of subscription fees? I know Kajabi and certain software or some platforms are a bit more expensive, but how do you help navigate them in this? Because I feel like personally, as an example, like by investing in some of the tech, like you said, can have a benefit long term.
Yes.
What's your thought on that?
So with Kajabi as the example, so I had another client, or actually the same client, who was really reluctant to go to Kajabi, and she was using ClickFunnels, which is a bit more complicated. And when I showed her, I've set this thing up, and she goes, how did you set it up so quickly? I said, this is how easy it is. And when I showed her again, she was like, okay, it's really easy, like overcomplicated it in her mind. And so, sorry, what was the question again?
It's more just all around the concept of how subscriptions can be quite expensive. So some of them, and that can also put business owners off, and specifically, I think, startups and that.
Yes.
So yeah, how do you manage that with clients?
Yeah, even with Kajabi, which is an all-in-one platform. So I was able to, with this client, she was using MailerLite plus ClickFunnels plus Zapier for other stuff, and we just got rid of all this stuff, and she just had all of her programs in Kajabi. When you think about it, so just say the monthly subscription for Kajabi is, I don't know, 300 Australian dollars a month. You can quite quickly make that back. So for her, she was charging 10,000 for a coaching pack, 3-month coaching package. So can you see how?
Yeah,
it's really a no-brainer. Yeah. And there are going to be, and she's got lower price things, but it's going to help you to run your business so much more easily when you invest in these programs. So, and run your business, it saves so much time in the long run. So you've got to sort of really think, are you really worried about the costs? And yeah, maybe it is looking at what have you signed up for that you don't use and getting a VA to go through absolutely everything. And are you making the most of that tech tool? You know, like really make the most of that tech tool if you're paying for it, or get rid of it. You know? Yeah.
I think it's the investment and the time. Definitely. Yeah, and just, you know, you've mentioned about the like resources and systems and other aspects. Are there any challenges you see business owners faced with scaling, or just in other areas?
With scaling, I think it's just having the fear of bringing on a team and then having the work to pay for them. So they can get caught up with, or how much is this team member, you know, paying for, and then they quickly forget how much they've actually achieved with that team member.
I find that quite interesting because I think as well, if you've got a corporate background, and I think you mentioned before, you know, a 9-to-5, you're not employing a 9-to-5, you can't physically see that person, and there is a bit of trust that you have to put in to your VA around that, and being conscious of that as well. But yeah, maybe they lose sight of it after a while because they've just, that thing's been taken off their plate, so it's not on their task list anymore.
That's right. And a lot of the time I will coach my virtual assistants to, you know, at the beginning of the week to say to the business owner, this is what I'm working on. This is when I'm working on it, because they probably have multiple clients. So to keep that communication going at the end of the week, this is what we've achieved, you know, and having a regular meeting on Zoom so you can see each other and, you know, be working for the same goals, and have that communication is really important. And so, and I think the business owner can quite quickly get busy and forget to give tasks to the VA. So I like to ask the VAs to be proactive and organise the client and get the task in advance. So, you know, you're not scrambling at the last minute and feel like, oh my gosh, I just can't keep up with this VA. But so the VA should really help you stay accountable for moving forward in your business as well, you know. Yeah, so it's about having the right VA to sort of lead you as well, so you're not always feeling like you're managing the VA.
Yes. Yes, because we're all adults here. All righty. So before we jump to this call, you did mention that you were recently in Queensland doing some NLP. Can you, just out of curiosity, I love this sort of stuff. And Alicia does too. Can you explain a little bit more about NLP and the benefits that you can use it in your in your business?
Yes. So NLP stands for neuro-linguistic programming. So there's a lot of things in our life and business that hold us back, that we, you know, limiting beliefs, or even things that have happened in our earlier life, in our childhood, that actually is stopping us from living our best life, you know, whether that's limiting beliefs or how your things your family said to you, or even things at school that someone said something to you and you've unconsciously or consciously taken things on, beliefs. it's this way of releasing or discovering those things. Sometimes you don't even need to know what's actually happened, but there's these exercises that I've learned to really shift and break through those limiting beliefs to help you to achieve what you really want in life and business. So, and that's where the mindset for me, I feel like as a business owner, it always comes back to the mindset of someone and why they're not achieving the success that they want. And it could be a big thing or it could be a little thing. So I've really, loved this NLP training. I'm also a hypnotist. I've got hypnosis certificate. I've got NLP.
Really?
And I trained with Elizabeth Ann Walker, and she's developed this emotional change technique, which is her own. And so we've learned that as well. So all these modalities to really help someone holistically, in their life, because life and business, they're all interrelated, right?
Yep.
So, it's just really interesting to be able to help someone on that level. So there was a lot of changes and shifts in the training room with the people that I paired up with, and seeing these processes change in like 5 minutes, some of them. It was really incredible that we can actually shift quite quickly and we don't have to live with these debilitating, limiting beliefs. We can just shift through them and get to the good stuff. Life's short.
Life is short.
Yeah.
So is this something that you'll be implementing in your own business or in the business of your clients?
Yes. So I'll be doing it for my clients. So doing it for myself, like, breaking through things that have been holding me back, and then helping my clients with that too, mindset, and to really, so as you know, I can do everything in the business, and this is just like the icing on top, the cherry on top, to really, achieve all the success. So I'm excited. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. We're a bit conscious of time, so we better start wrapping up. Now, obviously you are multi-passionate, multifaceted, but when we look to the future, what does your future business look like, or what are you getting excited about in the next, 2024? It's almost here. So what's it looking like for you?
Yeah, well, I see myself on stages helping people, talking about, how I can help people from, starting a business, growing a business, scaling a business, but also mums, who are juggling businesses and kids and babies, and that they can be empowered by going after and discovering what their passion and purpose is in life. I feel like that's an important thing when we are, living a purposeful life and business, that ripples out to our kids and our community and our family. So I've got 2 girls, so and they're 9 and 11. I want to inspire them to be the best version of themselves. So I think the NLP plus the business, it's just going to be, I want to write books. I want to help people with manifestation, like wealth generation, and it all starts with me, learning it, teaching it, embodying it, helping others. So it's like this, beautiful big vision that I have. And so, who knows where it's going to take me. And I'm just excited to get out there and talk more about it, be more visible. And I think that's what my brand has been all about, being more visible, being brave to share my story, be authentically me, and help as many people in the process as I can.
Wow, that's cool. I like that.
Thank you.
It's exciting.
It's very fun.
And before we finish off, I just wanted to know, and everyone else listening, if someone would like to work with you, where do you recommend they start, and how do they find you?
Yeah, they can start by going to Instagram. I love Instagram. It's been my number one place to hang out since I started my business. So that's at Karen_Vivarelli. You can send me a DM or a voice note. You can go to my website, which is karenvivarelli.com.au. I've added all my rebranding there. I've been changing it all up, which I've been loving. you can send me an email at hello@karenvivarelli.com.au. And yeah, or Facebook. I'm everywhere. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Pinterest.
Oh,
Just type my name in Google, and that's where usually people find me. So, because I've got a very unusual name. So, yeah, reach out. I'd love a good chat.
That's cool. And lastly, we know that you offer a variety of services. So, is there any services that's coming up that you would like to highlight?
I have private coaching. I'm selling spots, getting spots for 2024 at the moment, actually. So now that I've done NLP and the mindset work, it's getting people to come into that. I do have lots of other programs coming up. I do a lot of master classes and teaching on, from social media to sales, to team, all areas of business. So I have a lot of master classes that are coming up that I'll be releasing soon. And I do have a golden ticket, all access pass, which gets you 12 months access to everything that I put out there for 12 months, excluding private coaching and masterminds. So yes, there's so many things. Best place is to check my socials or my website. So yeah.
Brilliant. Hey. Thank you so much, Karen. That was such a great chat.
Thank you. I enjoyed it. So much fun.
Yeah.